Hello and welcome to the December Hemp Show, powered by CannTrade. My name is Mark Rostelli. I'm the CEO of CannTrade and the host of the Hemp Show. Next up on the Hemp Show, I'd like to welcome Jamõ Robinson with Nåno Hemp. Jamõ is a purveyor and collector of rare land-raised genetics from 7 countries and 5 continents. He is also a global patent holder, an ISO certified consultant, a marijuana state license holder, and raw materials extractor, processor, formulator, and distributor of rare phytocannabinoids derived from both hemp and botanical terpenes. Jamõ's last 4 years have been focused on drug delivery technology in order to create 100% phytocannabinoid absorption, scientifically based dosing, and a 2+ year product shelf life, eliminating nutrient fallout. Thank you for joining us, Jamõ, and welcome to the Hemp Show.
Hey, thanks. Thanks for having me, Mark. Pleasure.
Very cool. So excited to learn more. I know you're the rare cannabinoid expert here.
Oh gosh, there's so many. You know, we've uncovered about 30 of them, and many of them we don't even know, the medicinal effects. So instantly that goes into the human clinical sides and more research, so we can, produce white papers and present that to the public for education. But more importantly, I think, once we take those rare cannabinoids, the isolated state, we then do a bioenhancement and we nanoize this molecule and protect it through encapsulation. What this does is it gives it a shelf life when it's mixed with other components or ingredients, from topicals to tinctures. By having a 2-year shelf life is what we've tested on an accelerated testing through Lumifuge. It allows, formulators and companies to get a little more creative, providing, different formulations for their markets specifically. So that was our main goal, was to produce something that, I would almost call it dummy proof. It has a high temperature. It doesn't degrade once you put it into a topical or tinctures or other. I have a few products here I want to show you, but once we take it from the the isolated form and then to the bioenhancement to the nanoization, we have the typical tinctures that we put it in. This is pure. This isn't a cut tincture, so it's pretty much pure medicine. 6,000 milligrams on one, 15,000 milligrams on a 30 mil. We've done a real good process here. This is an oral thin film. These are what we call dehydrated tinctures, and allows us to. This one right here has 100 milligrams of CBD in it. Ginger peach is our go-to flavor, and
they're excellent, by the way, Jamõ.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I've been murdering those things. I've hammered out so many, several of those a day.
Yeah, it's a little discreet, and I think this is just you put this in your mouth, it's not as attractive, especially in public. So this was really designed for the wellness industry and for soccer moms, and they can have a nice silicone little freshness pack here, and they have an uplift, they have a chill, they have a sleep. Just depends on their mood. So we do a mood base for a few clients. Packaging is pretty good. You've got these here, nice little blister packaging we can provide, but it allows us to ship these globally at the moment, because of the rare cannabinoids that we currently manufacture are produced from the D-limonene, from the terpene. So we basically recreate a bioidentical molecule within a petri dish in a lab. So we replicate Mother Nature's ability to create that molecule. Allows us to get to other markets, do it legally, and get this CBD molecule in the hands of people that have normally been a little bit shy and just don't understand the legal landscape.
Jamõ, can you elaborate on how that process works? I mean, when you told me about you deriving CBD from D-limonene, my mind was blown. I was like, I had no idea that was even a possibility. So can you dive a bit more specifically into that? And can you also talk about the difference between the product, the finished product, as far as how that CBD tastes and feels and functions compared to a CBD derived from hemp?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have this is a citrus derived CBD. I don't know if you can see the color there. But
Mhm.
what this does is it's a bioidentical molecule, so it is, scientifically the exact same as a hemp-derived molecule. It acts the same way, through a lot of our tests. It acts exactly like a CBD molecule.
And
It,
it has, just for everybody that's listening, it has a bit of a tint to it, a bit of a yellowish tannish tint,
yeah,
right? Compared to a standard isolate from hemp.
yeah. This is so right there. The whiter one here is a CBG,
Okay.
hemp derived, a little whiteness in color. This is a citrus orange peel D-limonene derivative, 99.9% right here. The process is, there's some proprietary tech in this, but I can kind of give a quick little basic overview is a cyclic terpene assembly. And that's what, doctors like Emily, really help us with in the lab, is creating that molecule, bioidentical, exactly the same, but the derivative is obviously from an orange peel. It's one of the oldest extraction methods and known to mankind is the citrus essential oil terpene extraction. So it gives us a little competitive edge in different markets. And it allows a lot of our clients to be creative and to go into the market with full confidence and understanding the legal landscape, because it is not a hemp derived CBD. So it's opened up a lot of different doors for us globally at the moment. Allows us to supply a consistent product every single time to our clients, and I think that's key, is just being consistent and having a good flow, and never having a sold out on your website is the key right now that we've noticed from our clients.
Now you mentioned gives you a different edge in certain markets. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. That's because obviously the cannabis plant and the terpenes derived from cannabis slash hemp. Everybody's afraid of THC, so it's heavily regulated, and that kind of trickles down to these other lesser cannabinoids. But when it's coming from citrus peels, D-limonene, it doesn't follow those same regulations in many cases. Is that what's going on here?
Yes and no. Again, that's where the regulation, legal landscape's a little murky, and it's all about that old saying of lawyer up. And we do provide a template from our lawyers into other markets, such as Japan and the EU at the moment. Some markets look at this cannabinoid as a complementary supplement, and that's what's in the customs documents and our chain of documents. We'll provide all that, so there's no confiscation of the product, and everybody can do business and just get this molecule to people.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. So I remember first time we chatted about a year ago, that you were also doing things like THCV and some of the lesser cannabinoids. Do you have those? Do you have those with you as well? And can you talk a bit about the other cannabinoids you offer?
Yeah, we don't have them in the bulk. That's in the lab in a sealed up and
Okay.
ready. It needs to stay in there for chain of custody documents and all that. But what we do is we have the end products here. Again, this is a THCV oral thin film or dehydrated tincture, and again we put this in 20 milligrams into this. This was just developed for a client.
Very cool.
So that THCV will. Again, we can produce all the raw material we've ever wanted, but if it's not going to go into a product and taste good and be palatable to the general public, it kind of just sits on a shelf. So our
Right.
production over here is really focused on getting these into formulations and something that tastes good. So I'm glad you had some of that and you liked it.
I've had a lot. I've had a lot of it.
Yeah,
Hey, you
wonderful.
sent over a great care package. So I definitely I got to see I'm getting low. But
Yeah.
okay, so shifting gears here a bit. Are heavily involved in photocannabinoids and say focusing on the research portion of it as well. Where do we stand globally as far as the research on photocannabinoids for the lesser cannabinoids like we're talking about here, and for people who don't know about something like THCV? I mean, what type of information is coming out about the positive benefits of those types of cannabinoids?
A lot of ours is, creating white papers on third parties, getting a lot of the academic industry involved in this and kind of following their footsteps and providing them with the research and having them ride on it. Gets it out of our hands as, passionate, community entrepreneurs, I guess, is what we all are in a sense, and get it to the academics. From there, personal experience, what we've noticed is when you provide an oil-based isolate to let's say a research facility or a medical research, that oil-based or isolate is actually a bare molecule, so it's not stable. So a lot of the researchers can't use that molecule, can't use that product, CBG, CBD, whatever it is, in its original naked state. It's not stable at the beginning. So when you're doing research, it's not going to be stable at the end, so it kind of throws it out. It defeats the purpose. So what we've done is been able to nanoize and encapsulate and create a stability right at the beginning for the researchers to now study the molecule. So as we get into, CBDA, CBDV, THCVA, we take that to the next step and we microencapsulate that. And so we can provide, a bit of a stability for the researchers to actually get that academic paperwork out, and then the community can, base their own opinions upon that. So that's kind of where we are. We're kind of stuck in that area of the education, but also providing end product to show them, like, look, here's what the research says. This is what it tastes like. How does it, feel in your body? And then we kind of just go from there and to build slowly, from clients to, people that are very interested in this area. So there's a lot of information, but there's also not a lot of information. There's a lot of cannabinoids that we have no information on. We just can't.
Long way to go.
Long way. So we're scratching the surface here, and we're excited.
I mean, what are we looking at? We're looking at only roughly 20 years of it even being legal in some states in the US. So it's a long way to go for sure. Now, you spent the last 4 years focusing on the drug delivery technology. Your technology is the nano encapsulation. Can you elaborate on not only that, but also talk about how that's so much more important as a delivery mechanism than other methods of ingesting or smoking phytocannabinoids?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, smoking is definitely a good way to get the medicine into your body, but putting particles into the lungs is not recommended. So we kind of stayed away from that. The next avenue to go to was absorption, which was to the buccal cavity or a suppository. And to be honest with you, I didn't want to spend the next 3 years in R&D developing suppositories for people, So that's where we jumped onto the oral thin film or dehydrated tinctures. Going through the buccal cavity there, you get a lot of absorption right away by the enzymes and into the body. The technology we have goes from a 10 nanometer to 20 nanometers, and that will bust through the blood-brain barrier and allowing the absorption into the body. Now, if you say 100 milligrams, we have science and global patents to back up that you're getting 100% of that absorption of that CBD molecule into your body. Now, if you go to a normal oil-based tincture, you're maybe getting 5-8%, wasted in the gut, not absorbed by the body because it's larger particles. So we're essentially following a nutraceutical avenue that's been around for 30, 40, 50 years. A lot of my partners are, nutraceutical. And the delivery systems have always been there. We're just applying the delivery systems onto this molecule, protecting it and getting it into the body and having a legitimate dosage. If you're paying for 50 milligrams, you're getting 50 milligrams into your body. Right. I think that's the key, because a lot of people I talk to every day say, look, I bought a $200 tincture and I don't think it works. And I just cringe. I'm like, oh, it's oil based. And I understand that. So we're trying to, yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned the price, and that's one of the barriers I've always seen, at least when someone's comparing something that is, bioavailable and ready to be absorbed in the body versus something that is not. It's basically like you can have something that's 50 milligrams that you're only getting a few percentage points of versus something that's 6 to 8 milligrams that has more effect than the thing that's 50 milligrams. However, from a consumer standpoint, when they go into a dispensary or they go into a CBD shop, the consumer is looking at the amount of, the milligrams of cannabinoids in the product and relating that to the price. So that was one of the discrepancies I've always seen, as far as like, it's more bioavailable and it's going to have a much better effect. However, it's going to have less cannabinoids in it. And it's kind of this barrier between the customer education on those products.
I mean, you could have 10,000 milligrams of CBD, but if you're only going to get 5% absorption in your body, what are you paying for? So that's kind of how we look at it. We use absorption, not bioavailability. Bioavailability for us right now is really with a naked isolate or an oil-based product, because you're always trying to make it more bioavailable because it is an oil-based, large particle, really bad absorption. With ours is instant absorption right away, and that's key because it keeps product liability out of our customers' hands. You know, we give them the bulk raw material, and then we kind of showcase them, kind of hold their hand through the process, say, look, this is a cannabinoid, but it's a different technology that you need to look at these aspects. And I think a lot of it gets consumer confidence, also entrepreneur and business confidence, that they can go to market and say, hey, you're getting this. And if there's any issues, we have science to back it up. And
Totally. So JMO, we've run out of time, got to wrap things up. So if you're interested in connecting with JMO and Nåno Hemp, please add them to your network on CannTrade. You can also place orders and ask questions directly from the Nåno Hemp wholesale menu posted in the webinar chat, also on the CannTrade feed and in the podcast and YouTube show notes. Thank you again, JMO.
Yeah, buddy.
This is great.
Yeah. Get a coconut, water soluble coconut water here.
Nice, with the blender cup.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Cool.
Yeah, so this is one of our newer products that came out. We're pretty excited about it. So it's a instant packet, go to town, 40, 50 milligrams of coconut water. So
very cool. Well, thank you for
guys.
being here, JMO.